Frank, hold it steady. I'm going to put the star on the top of the tree.
Hold on. Let me plug it in first.
Whoa! Watch the food, will you, Frank? I got an EDGEFINDER alert I want to look at.
I got you.
The food, Frank, not the charts.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure thing. You didn't leave the keys in the spaceship, did you?
Yeah, I did. Why?
I think someone just stole it.
Oh, gosh. You know what? Whatever. That was kind of a last month thing anyways.
I think I just saw Santa walk past the window.
Frank, the food! You left the oven on!
I'll get it.
You're both here? I could have sworn I saw your ship fly by.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was Santa's sleigh. Jerome, so happy you could make it. How's your day been?
Just close the door.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift you know that you've been wanting. A funded trading account with FX2. FX2 allows you to earn real profits on a simulated account up to $200,000. To start, select any of their one-step evaluations. We know things can get pretty hectic during the holidays, but you can take your time with the evaluations because there's no time limit to complete them. And with FX2, once you pass, they'll even refund your evaluation fee during your first withdrawal. You can collect up to 85% of the profits that you gain on your account. You can buy a whole lot of presents with that kind of money. Get funded with FX2 today and find the most wonderful trades of the year.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. Thank you for being here. And hopefully you're getting in the holiday spirit. It's about 20 days out from Christmas. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys, but it'll be nice to... I can't get my headphones to turn on today, so we're just going to abandon that strategy. Yeah, we're about 20 days out from the holiday season. And you just saw in that opening introduction, let me just remind you that we do have a sponsor here on the channel, FX2 Funding. If you guys are looking to get funded here during this holiday season, pick up a challenge or an evaluation for 15% off with our code A1Trading15. Let them know that we sent you and check it out, see if they're the right fit for you. But there you go. So as we kick off the stream, good morning to some of you guys in the chat. Hi, Adele, Vanessa, good to see you. Madi in the chat, Chief in the chat, Vincent, Glenda, Tio. Good to see everybody this morning. Thank you for being here. So do me a quick favor as we start the stream. Let me know what you guys would like me to pull up. What charts are you interested in here today? I usually do start with a dollar index, so let's do a little bit of an update on this one. I'll go full screen here for a second. So the dollar index, you can see it's still kind of pulling back here, and it's actually so far just narrowly missed that 104 short-term level of resistance that I've pointed out. 104 is this level here. My thought process is that if price does get up into that region, that the dollar should see some rejection. I would imagine, right? Best guess, as always with trading. Trading is not a certainties game. It's all about probabilities and managing risk. Probabilities wise, I think that if price comes up to that level, that we do get a reaction from price. So I've been bearish on the dollar. There's been a couple reasons for that. Overall, the story does seem that the trend, the path of least resistance on the fundamentals side, if we talk fundamental analysis for a second, has been a weaker US dollar. And part of the reason for that is that, well, interest rates seem to be forecasted to come down. There's a wide variety, it seems, of different opinions as to when those rate cuts do begin. But consensus seems that rate cuts are expected in the new year. And so as you look at that and you say, well, new year rate cuts, that is very much the opposite of what got the dollar to be so strong for quite a while, right? The dollar saw a massive run up in the previous years off of the idea that rate hikes would continue to make the dollar strong. And that was the case. I mean, if you were here with us during 2022, you know that we covered the dollar extensively for months and months, that the dollar just kept going up on those rate hikes. But now what we see, like I said, I think is the opposite scenario playing out. We see rate cuts expected, and that actually gives me more optimism on counters to the dollar, things like gold, the pound, the euro, etc. So when we take a look at the 4-hour chart, we can get a little closer view as to see what the US dollar is doing. We are struggling at resistance here. What you can see is that you've got some rejection around the 103.8 level. You may get this price rolling over here sooner than tapping that 104 level, though I do think that generally speaking, both of this area and this area, I would best guess, as always, is that I think we see price retreat off of those highs. We'll see if I'm right about that. I could totally be wrong. And as always, when it comes to analysis, you know, when I put out my opinions here, I share what I think is going to happen, but I'm wrong often, right? Trading is not about being right all the time. Trading is all about managing your risk, setting up for the right trades, letting a good winner run, and admitting when you're wrong pretty quick. So for me, what I'm thinking here is that we're getting pretty close to a decision point on the US dollar. So again, if you start taking a look at, we're seeing this higher low, I'd like to see this counter trend kind of fall apart pretty soon, meaning price to either reject off of this area or this area looking left, right? 104 being that key zone. But that, if that changes, let me be clear about this. I think that when you have an opinion about what a market will do, everybody has an opinion, right? But when it comes to trading, what makes an opinion valid or not is, of course, your bias, fundamentally, technically, etc. But also, how are you going to manage it if you're dead wrong? Because what if I'm dead wrong here? What if the dollar has a big recovery move for the end of the year? How do I position? Well, there it is. My idea would be in this general area or this general area. I'd be bearish on the dollar index. And if this 104.20 level, let's call it, if that were to break out, I would be wrong. So I think it's important when you're talking trading to acknowledge at what point you are admitting wrong. Okay. When it comes to trading, there's an expression that I really like. If you're early, you're wrong. So you might say, well, Nick, what about if the dollar goes up to this point and then it sells? you were right. No, you were wrong. If you're doing what I'm doing, right? So if I say I think the dollar gets weak in these areas, I think that this general zone should see rejection. If I don't see a reaction from these areas, then I was wrong in my analysis. So my analysis, again, fundamentally, the story seems path of least resistance would be a weaker dollar into the end of the year. I think that this is a pullback. I could be wrong about that, but that is my bias. Okay. So how am I positioned? Well, I did try and go long gold yesterday, and some of you guys might have seen me. I'll go to gold in just a second. Let me just show you where I currently am positioned. I am still long S&P 500, and it looks like it's getting challenged here. I am long S&P as of November 1st, still holding on to this trade. It's been a monster mover. I have a support level here that I've got marked up on my chart. If this support level breaks, guys, the trade is done. Okay. I'll be taking profits if this thing does break through support. And we have some catalysts today. We have PMI numbers coming out in about 20 minutes or so. That could cause some volatility either direction. We'll see what those numbers bring. PMI numbers, what are we hoping for? We're hoping for, I would say, moderate cooling numbers. I don't want to see horribly contracting numbers, but I don't want to see expansion either, because expansion would mean maybe the Fed pushes out their rate cuts. And too much contraction could start to mean that the economy is more so on the rapid decline. We don't want rapid decline. We just want normalizing. We want neutral economic growth for a little while to get that Fed off of our backs with interest rate stuff, right? It's already seemingly happened, hence why the S&P 500 has rallied, and we've been partaking in that rally quite a bit. So again, I would like to see PMI numbers here and Joltz job openings both coming out in about 20 minutes. Should be interesting. One guy talked to Aussie dollar last week, sells on this channel so far playing out. If you can tell his name, thanks. Might have been Miko. I don't know. We have a lot of guests that come on the show, Eric. I'm gonna guess it was Miko, but I can't remember. Or Marco. Miko and Marco. If it was a Thursday, it's usually them. Eric says Nick doesn't read the chat. I just read your message. Nick, do you have any tips on where I can learn more about macroeconomics and fundamentals? Herbert, not to sound tongue-in-cheek, but I would highly encourage you just to stick around on the channel. Watch the streams and stuff every day. There's not like in my opinion, there's not a great way to learn fundamentals from just reading through like a macroeconomics book. Sure, you could technically do it that way, but I think that as if you're trying to be a trader with economic numbers, don't get too lost in the theory. Look at it from a trading perspective, which is what we try and do on the channel. How are the economics actually impacting us? Because, for example, I could sit here and talk about how the national debt could become a bigger issue on the macroeconomic front and could cause some serious issues with the new issuing debt that we're creating to pay for old debt. You could get into all that stuff, but from a trader's perspective, I think you kind of have to be able to heat seek and identify what is the catalyst now for markets. And right now, as we've been illustrating in today's live stream, I think the focus is disinflation seems to be set to continue, so we stay the course. And that means for me, dollar bearish, stock market bullish, gold bullish, etc. Speaking of gold, let's get on that topic here. Gold pulling back, and to be completely fair, this level of support that I thought would hold yesterday, I went long on the live stream and just got pummeled immediately. It was like 30 minutes after I entered the trade, I was stopped out. So not my best moment by any means, but again, markets are pretty unpredictable in the short term, and I think entries are very hard. So my entry obviously was not very good yesterday on my gold entry. I do still have a bullish outlook, but I'm a little hesitant with this gold price action. I think that from a daily chart perspective, I am interested in gold still. I would like to see this thing pull back to the 2000 mark, which is a ways away. So I may not get that opportunity to do so. So here's two scenarios for gold. Either I'm bullish on gold at a pullback to the 2000 level from a daily chart perspective. That would be more of a swing trade, a longer term trade. I do think that gold had a big capitulating move here, big sell-off. That is a little bit sketchy. So I'm not jumping in, especially like I showed you that 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart didn't hold support here or here. It broke this trend line. It's a little bit short-term a little bit hazy for me. So I would like to see either a discount on the daily chart to the 2000 level, which I think is a psychological level that could hold. I've been clear about that on my Telegram and Discord posts. By the way, if you guys would like to join the free Telegram, if you want to keep up with analysis outside of just the stream, it gets sent to your phone. It's totally free to join. We'll drop the link to the free Telegram here in the chat. So click that link. You can join the Telegram. Also, so in terms of the gold market here, the 4-hour chart, there's two perspectives. I think either a pullback to the 2000 level would be interesting for a long, in my opinion, or if we start to see higher lows, higher highs, I wouldn't hesitate to try and find a breakout pullback. I am very bullish on the gold market overall, though again, that long wick at the top is a little bit sketchy. But I think this was a little bit of a blip. It was traded early Asian session as the markets kicked off. And yes, there was some heavy selling that followed. But I think the conditions still favor upside for gold. And then again, staying true to that end of the year dollar bearish idea that I've had, I think I'll be looking for pullbacks and opportunities to get long gold. It is our top rated bullish setup on the EDGEFINDER right now. And COT data showed some really promising numbers. If you guys don't have access to the EDGEFINDER, it's our software tool that we use here at A1 Trading. We build tools for traders. We're a team of about 10 people total that build software tools for FX, indices, commodities traders. So when we take a look at this, what I want to show you with gold specifically, we highlighted this yesterday. Gold had a very interesting latest filing. Big money went long gold. Well, they picked up more bullish positions. And noticeably what happened is it was actually a big increase in long contracts in the previous filing and a big decrease in shorts. Both of those are really bullish moves. So institutional money seems bullish on gold. You can see that from the net institutional positioning. You can see 76% long overall. And on the weekly basis, a really big increase in terms of contracts held on the long side, or at least bullish moves in the futures contracts trading. So very useful information. If you don't have access to the EDGEFINDER, by the way, you can get a copy here. We're doing Christmas discounts. If you would like access to the EDGEFINDER for a discount, we'll drop a link. You can find out more information about the discounts that we're offering, as well as if you'd like to get a trial or speak with somebody about the tool, please feel free to click this link. It's just been dropped in the chat. It's also at the top of the description if you're watching this video at a later point. We put up the reruns of the stream after they get done finished on the live. So you can watch it either or click that link if you're watching it at a later point, or if you're with us here live, that's in the direct message, or sorry, it's in the chat right now, where you can direct message someone on our team and ask about the Christmas discounts that we're offering on the software. Of course, that includes our top setups algorithm, all of our economic data scans, the COT data, retail sentiment, which we can take a quick look at that. Retail, what is retail up to? In terms of the major currency pairs, seems pretty neutral on euro, pound, dollar CAD, Kiwi, dollar yen. Retail traders seem to be very bearish dollar yen. So that gives us kind of that bullish contrarian signal. And on the flip side, you have Australian dollar and dollar Swiss, giving us a contrarian or bearish signal to the crowd, which seems pretty long on those assets. So it can be very useful. And by the way, this does also include other markets like indices, gold, etc. So now we've just added some more things to the list here. You've got NASDAQ, gold, both giving us neutral readings, while the S&P is giving us a nice bullish confirmation. Same with the Dow, same with the DAX, dollar yen, Nikkei, and then you flip it around, you've got oil, dollar Swiss, and the Australian dollar giving us contrarian or bearish signals. Retail sentiment's a cool one. Check that out when you get a chance. If you'd like to try out the software, again, you can do so. We do have trials available. If you'd like to sign up and apply for one of those, you can go to a1trading.com. Top right hand of the screen, you'll see an EDGEFINDER trial button where you can sign up and fill out an application form for a trial of our software. Guys, we're going to turn our attention now to Frank and Tom, who are going to be joining us on the show to go over trading setups, both on the technical and fundamental side. I definitely want to ask them about this gold move that's been going on. Is the pullback time to buy, or is this a full-blown reversal? We'll come back to Tom and Frank just after this quick commercial break, where we thank our sponsors who make this show possible. Check it out.
The holiday season. Many people think it's the most wonderful time of the year. While everyone's out and about, grabbing gifts for loved ones, don't forget to get something for the most important person on your list. You. Yes, get something nice for yourself. Get yourself the gift of a premier trading software and community by signing up with Eightcap. Eightcap is in the giving spirit because they're handing out the A1 EDGEFINDER 100% for free. In order to join in on the holiday fun, just create a trading account with Eightcap, and if you stuff your account full of funds like a stocking over the fireplace, you'll get access to the EDGEFINDER and our trading Discord. So don't forget to give yourself a gift this holiday season and sign up with Eightcap using the link being dropped in the chat now or in the description down below. Don't get put on the naughty list. Trade with Eightcap.
All right, guys, and thank you to our sponsors over at Eightcap. Again, the link for that will be down below in the description or in the chat. We're joined now with Tom and Frank. What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hi, Frank. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Early Christmas.
It's good to have both of you guys back on. It is early Christmas. We're 20 days away. It's like the countdown is starting. And I mentioned that we were covering this gold move a little bit, which just absolutely explosive price action. I want to go to Tom first on this. Tom, what is your reaction to gold recently? I feel free to share whatever charts you'd like, but I'm just curious from a technical perspective, what are you seeing?
Well, look at that daily candle. That is just a crazy, like I said, guys, super crazy, bearish candle. You don't get much more bearish than that, first of all. And, it's at a very, important weekly level for gold. So this is the weekly chart. It's at a resistance level. Prices reacted here before, and it's reacted here again. It reeks of liquidity grabs to me. It's just, taking out stops in here. But, who knows? But, I cannot buy that. Yeah. So first and foremost, if we look at the weekly chart, yeah, we're in an uptrend. Okay. So we would be looking for buys, and it's the same with the day chart. As you know, we've been in a uptrend for some time with gold as well, and we're in this uptrend. But I am just not looking to buy gold purely because of that candle. And, it just does not compute in my brain. I cannot buy that. There's so much selling pressure there. If anything, I want to see a breakdown from here, like a breakdown in structure, maybe something like this, and I would start selling gold. But yeah, it just cannot sell or cannot buy it. And, I can't sell it at the moment because we're still in an uptrend on daily and weekly. So bit of a no trade for me, really.
Okay, fair enough. And yet to your point, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart on my end, and what you could see is that price on the open this week, it was at 2,071 an ounce. That's where it closed, somewhere approximately at the end of last week. On the open, it traded all the way up by $75, $76 an ounce, up to its new all-time high, just at like 21.49, I think, something like that. Just a crazy move, to your point, and then followed, maybe actually more impressive than the massive jump has been this move down. This is a $132 an ounce move in just about a day and a couple hours. So Frank, do you feel the same as Tom? Do you think this is a move you just stay out of the way of? What do you think on your side?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Tom pulled up the weekly chart, and on Monday, it was a very similar look of, very bearish hammer candle to the downside, and big selling pressure on that day too. I would say the next level you could look at is 2010 to like 2005. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw more selling here. I think gold, it hit a record, and now people are taking profit, and this is a bunch of not accounts, but a bunch of trades getting liquidated. People are pulling out of gold because of this, and it's not really surprising to see, just because gold had a really good run. So this was almost like a reverse capitulation, where you see a strong uptrend in the past 2 months, and then all of a sudden you see a huge buy, as in they're getting in their last orders, taking it up to as far as they can, and then realizing that money. So gold went way above its target, and it's in just such a short amount of time that I think, yeah, there's more downside for gold, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bearish. But in the meantime, just, I don't know. I'm looking at gold short side, and I'm also at the same time looking at Bitcoin long side. The two kind of move together. The only thing is, Bitcoin has outpaced gold, and it has also, I even looked at low time frames, like 1 minute, 5 minute, watching their moves in the past couple of days, and they go almost opposite of each other. You see one candle go up, gold goes down, Bitcoin goes up, gold goes down. It's just a very kind of inverse relationship to some degree. And despite gold and the markets falling today, Bitcoin continues to keep pushing higher. So I think Bitcoin, just regarding this strength, this period of consolidation with a slow trend up, and then occasional spikes, more consolidation, I think we're definitely on track here to see some test around, I want to say, even like 48. Just seeing how strong this is before it hits another, significant level of resistance is this top right here back in, this is March 2022. Yeah, so I think on both sides of the coin, gold is not something you want to look at right now if you're trying to buy, but Bitcoin looks like a buy here. So that's kind of my opinion right now.
That's totally fair, Frank. And I want to talk about this gold move just a little bit too. To your point, Bitcoin flying high and gold tanking, which has been really interesting, because in some ways people kind of find ways to compare the two. Almost like gold is the great grandfather of Bitcoin. Bitcoin now kind of being called like digital gold. But it's really interesting to see the contrast between the two. I mentioned earlier that I think, for me, the only spot where I start looking at gold a little bit closer is that $2,000 an ounce mark. I think that this selling has been aggressive, no question. There's clearly a big sell order going on. And I think for me, my next attempt on gold may be at the 2,000 level, depending on what the candles look like at a lower time frame, level for a possible bounce. Still $16 an ounce away. We'll see if it drops. I mean, on a usual day, it's rare for gold to move that many dollars an ounce, but we'll have to watch and see. Again, I think I might be trying another buy at that level if we can get it. COT data gave me a little bit of confirmation, but again, I totally understand where you guys are coming with that big wick on the top. That's a little bit sketchy. On top of that, though, I want to talk about some of the other things that are trading against the dollar. We talked about euro yesterday. Euro seems to be breaking through a support zone. Tom, what do you think about the euro against the dollar? Do you think it's due to come down further? Do you think this level could actually bounce from here? What do you think about EU?
Yeah, so there's a few dollar pairs that are in a similar position. They're almost at a point where there are daily structure breaks. And euro US dollar is one of them. I would say that hasn't broken structure yet, because this wick closed back into this wick. So it'll be interesting to see what today's candle does on the back of, we've got some job lot openings and some PMI data. So it'll be interesting to see if this daily candle, does end up looking something like this. Excuse my drawing. I've been drinking. I haven't really. But yeah, if we got a bearish candle like this that broke these lows, then that is a structure change for me. And I'd be looking to sell euro US dollar. But yeah, we'll see what the news does. But there's a few like that. If we look at Aussie dollar, US dollar, this is at the point of a structure break as well. If we follow this structure, it's not making higher highs. That is always a red flag for me. And coupled with the fact we get a very bearish daily reaction at those highs, so if we break this low, this Aussie dollar, US dollar is also, will be a structure break. But for me to trade these pairs, I would need to wait for the daily candle to form. And then I'll make a decision tomorrow. And pound US dollar is another one. If we get rid of this, this finds itself in a bit of consolidation here. If we get a break lower, maybe the news is the catalyst. If we get a break lower here, then potentially we have some room to the downside. And this would, this means US dollar strength, which would also mean potentially gold would come down more as well. So, they're really interesting levels. But for me, it'd be more of a trade if I have one for tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. And speaking of news, as you mentioned, Tom, thank you for bringing that up. We do have news coming out in about a minute and a half. We are getting PMI and Joltz numbers. We'll leave the screen pulled up for me, but just so we don't miss the news. But Frank, of those two numbers, do you care about one in particular more? Again, we've got about a minute to go.
Yeah, PMI is more important. Joltz ultimately tells you nothing because it's never the same as what NFP is. And the amount of job openings doesn't necessarily mean the amount of jobs added to a market. So what I'm hoping for, if I am going to be bullish on the indices and gold and Bitcoin, is something, because they trade directly against the dollar, gold and Bitcoin, I'm hoping for lower PMI, because every time we see a higher PMI number, it's a sign of, increased money flow and potential upside for inflation. So we don't want to see PMI, especially if we want to see Bitcoin and gold come higher. So that's what I'm hoping for now. On the flip side, if we see lower PMI, then it will be good.
Sorry to cut you off, Frank. We got just about 10 seconds here. Let's do our breaking news. All right, and we are coming in here, see what the number brings us. 10 a.m. is on the clock. The dollar seems down initially, gold popping a little bit, euro up, S&P up. Let's see what the number was, if we can get it. So, okay, PMI numbers came out 52.7. Pretty close to in line with expectations, but services PMI hanging in there, still showing some expansion. Whereas, of course, with manufacturing, we saw contraction. While meanwhile, we saw job openings, 8.73 million compared to a 9.31 million. Of course, the theme of this week is a lot of jobs numbers. So despite Joltz maybe not being super important, any signs of labor statistics cooling could be optimistic for the markets. But again, PMI coming out slightly better than expected. But despite that, dollar dropping. And I think Joltz may have been the more surprising difference. So yeah, because 0.5 difference on PMI, that is a beat on PMIs. But perhaps jobs cooling while PMI numbers holding in there. Okay, it seems like the market likes it. S&P up again. Gold finding a bit of a bounce. 2022 coming in now. Euro.
I still don't think it's a good sign. This initial reaction is always weird, but I don't think higher PMI is what we want to see.
Yeah, and it's how much of a beat is that, Frank? We have 52.7 compared to 52.2. Previous was 51.9. 0.8. So definitely some expansion in the services section for the PMI number.
What matters though is if we see higher PMI and we see more jobs added, like if NFP comes in hotter than expected, but inflation like CPI and core continue to fall, that's a good sign because that's expansion with disinflation. But
Yep, it's a good point.
if we continue to see like more involvement in the economy, like there's more money going through it and more jobs, more spending from consumers and businesses, and then it ticks up inflation, that's where we have our problem. So any indication that there's going to be higher inflation, I think, is not a good sign. But yeah,
Sure.
for at least gold anyways, I don't think that's very great news.
Okay, fair enough. And Tom, will get you in on it as well. Anything catching your eye off of the move there? We did actually get a bit of a spike across dollar pairs. What are you watching?
Yeah, so just keeping an eye on the dollar pairs and see if this move upward is sustained, to see if we get a break. I'm actually in a trade. I'm in Swiss franc Japanese yen.
Okay.
And we were seeing an ascending triangle with Swiss franc Japanese yen. So you can, just basically see this ascending triangle here. And we were just trying to take it to the top of this triangle. So I'm still in this trade. So I was keeping an eye on this. So we was in an ascending triangle. We had a nice bullish push off of these lows and this trend line as well. Excuse my drawing today. I don't know what's wrong with it. And we had a nice push away from that level earlier on. So we entered on this H4 candle earlier. And the idea is to take it back up to here. Stop is down here. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. But I'm liking the look of the ascending triangle. I think potentially we have some room up to here. And this is what I want to see. I want to see a wicks forming at the bottom here. If we drop down to the H1, yeah, we'll see. It's testing these lows, but I just want to see wicks now. I want to see big wicks bouncing off this level with a view to taking it up to here. So that's they've been tricky markets, to be honest, guys, recently. It's been difficult to find trades and pick things out. And I keep saying this to all my viewers. It's been very tricky markets. They sort of, like euro pairs were super, the euro was super weak, but we just can't get in on it because it's so oversold, and it's just been very tricky markets at the moment. Or you're in an uptrend like gold, but you're at a weekly resistance level. There's lots of this keep happening in the markets, and it's just tricky. So this was the only trade I could find today. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting here too about the news that we've gotten is I was trying to look in a little closer, Frank, to gold here, because I would have expected that this would have actually put negative pressure on gold, right? The 52.7, a hotter economy. We know kind of gold 101 is that cooling economy, generally speaking, is good for gold. Any sort of disinflationary stuff is good for gold, but perhaps the number is the Joltz causing a little bit more of a reaction here. But it's interesting to watch gold. I mentioned earlier the two scenarios for me with gold would either be a sign of life in this, as much as we've had these ugly candles here to the downside. If we see some signs of life, if green comes back in this chart, I may re-look at taking a position. Or if we just get a deeper kind of sell off, perhaps a pullback to that 2000 level. But Frank, do you think what do you feel the same way? Like PMI numbers should have possibly had a little bit more negative impact on gold, and perhaps maybe it's a delayed effect?
Yeah, I do. I don't really like looking at the initial reaction anyways, unless I feel like it lines up with how I think it should react. So the fact that gold went one way or the opposite of where I wanted to, I don't really think is a confirmation that it's going to keep going higher. well, this is the Dow. But I was just, if we wanted to, I was going to talk about indices some too.
Yeah, please.
So the Dow was like the best out of the 3 indices in the US in terms of, upside. So this is what we're seeing now is yesterday's candle was definitely some exhaustion here on the buy side. Today we're seeing some sell-off. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I feel like this is something to watch out for. On the index that's run up the most, this could be also another potential pullback here, just because of how this looks, and it's gotten overextended here on the buy side. So, maybe time for a little bit of a pullback too. But yeah, PMI should, PMI is, I guess, a little tricky for indices, but that is good economic data. So it could be a booster for it, but it's also looking at the Fed. It's like a balancing act. What do you think the Fed will think about this? And
Yeah, that's a good point. It's always about, how does this data going to be interpreted? And also, I just want to add a little bit of clarity on the Joltz job openings numbers that we did get. Here is something that is worth mentioning. It's not just that the number here today was less than forecasts by, 0.5 million job openings, which is, that's a meaningful decline compared to forecast. But it's also, if you take a closer look, what I think might have grabbed the market's attention is the revised number from the previous reporting. The previous reporting was 9.55 million. They actually revised it down to 9.35 million. So you're seeing the previous number get revised down and this current number be, down further from what was even expected. So while it's not nearly as meaningful as NFP, as Frank pointed out for us earlier, it still is in some ways an indicator that shows job health or at least hiring tendencies of companies. So it's kind of interesting to see. And again, that revised down and lower than expected number today seems to be perhaps a little bit of a a deterrent in terms of the dollar index, but an interesting move, a little bit of mixed move, because you had, again, PMI numbers hot, but then jobs data kind of cool. So interesting to see that play out. But Tom, I want to thank you for coming on the show, as well as Frank, both of you guys, as always, for contributing here. Tom, you've got Swiss yen that you're watching, so we'll have to keep an eye on that pair for you, see if it can find a bounce there. And also, for those of you guys who would like to follow up with you, Tom, we can drop your link to Simply Forex, your YouTube channel, which is right there in the chat, guys. If you click that link, it'll take you over there. You can subscribe to Tom and check out his content to keep up with him on a regular basis. Tom, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
thanks, Tom.
See you, Tom. All right, and same thing, Frank. Thanks for going through that data with us. A little bit of a challenging day, but nonetheless an interesting one. So we'll be back for the rest of the week, where we have arguably some even more important data coming out. So see you next time.
Sounds good.
All right. And just a heads up, guys, also, I mentioned this earlier, we are doing our Christmas discounts. If you guys would like access to our software or to the VIP group, by the way, you can get access to the trades being shared. And also, I think we do actually have, I've got James's notification. I almost forgot about this. We've got something fun that we're going to do. And I actually think we might need to recruit Frank back in here for a second. James put together a little mini game for us on the show here today. So that is going to be fun. I think you guys will have fun with this as well. Guess that market game. We've never done this before. And I think we're going to do it in Telegram as well as on the stream. But James is going to be joining us and walking us through that. So stay with us here. It should be fun. We're going to be doing a little thing where we guess which market is on the screen, and you guys can play along with us. It's going to be fun. James had this idea yesterday. I said, let's do it on the stream. Why not? Give it a try. Anyways, I just want to keep an eye on that gold market. Dollar seems to be rejecting here, and I like to see that. If I take any trades, by the way, for those of you who are in our Discord, keep an eye on the commodities trade section. For VIP members, I will be keeping an eye. Again, I took that loss yesterday, but I've pointed out that I'm watching $2,000 an ounce for a possible re-entry on the gold trade. So I'll keep an eye on that. And if I do take a trade, those of you who are VIP members with us will get notification to your phone and to your desktop for any trades that I take. Same with Frank's trades, as well as Ivan's trades, who you might know from the streams as well. If you guys are not already in the VIP group, take advantage of the discounts that we're offering for Christmas by dropping us a message. You can direct message us on our website. We've got the link here. Can we drop that in the chat there, Chandler? If anybody would like to join the Discord, sign up for the VIP group. It is well worth the money. You'll learn a ton of stuff. You can see all the details and reasoning behind each and every trade that's shared, as well as updates, entries, exits, etc. All right, I think we're ready. We're going to go now to James. We'll bring him in here to do our mini game. Him, Frank, and I are going to have some fun with this. All right. Hey, James, what's up?
So I asked Frank the same question that I asked you as we were leaving the office, and Frank got it immediately.
Well, that's why Frank's the real analyst. I'm just the pretty face.
So the way that this is going to work, everybody, is I have taken some markets, some very popular markets, US dollar crosses, indices, commodities, and 2 stock questions at the end. I've actually added another stock question, Nick, because as an example, I asked you and Frank the beginning question, so I decided it's only right if I add another question to the end of it. So we have a couple questions to go through, and I am going to put them in the Telegram as well so that they think the right answer is. So let me go ahead and get the first. So I'm just going to put question 1 in the Telegram. So everyone watching along, if you want to play along.
Yeah, if you guys want to play, click the link. We got the Telegram in the chat here for you.
You can join the Telegram, and I'm going to put the exact same answer key into the Telegram that Nick and Frank are about to have. And I promise this will all make sense in just 1 second. So basically, I have taken some screenshots of charts, and I also have clues about the charts. They're all popular, well-known, well-traded charts. Nothing, I'm not trying to confuse or trick anybody with any of these questions. And you have to try and guess the chart. It's as simple as that. So I'm putting the first poll in now. It just says question 1, and it has A, B, C, or D. And so here's the first question. And Nick and Frank already got this question, so they should know the answer. So this will be a practice so that we can kind of show what this is going to be like for the audience and they can guess. So here is your first clue. Here's the chart, and it says, since October of last year, this market has been in a serious uptrend. At this year's highs, it had grown by 17% from 0.95 up to 1.12, currently trading around 1.08. And I double checked that this morning as well. So it is still trading in that range. So since October of last year, this market has been in a serious uptrend. At this year's highs, it had grown by 17% from 0.95 up to 1.12, currently trading around 1.08. Remember, if you want to answer yourself, either A, pound dollar, B, dollar yen, C, euro dollar, or D, CAD dollar, you can play along with us in the Telegram. That poll is up right now. We have 11 votes so far. And again, I asked this to Nick and Frank, so they already know the answer. This was kind of just a test question. And I'm going to go ahead and give the answer, I suppose, so that we can go ahead and move on to some new questions. The answer, we have 88 votes in so far. The answer is the euro dollar. That is the euro dollar chart. Next question is, this market has also been in an uptrend since October of last year. At its highs, this market grew by nearly 28% but it's still trending near its all-time highs today. If you were bullish on this asset in October and November of this year, you most likely made money.
Gold.
Frank, you can't say the answer.
Oh, I can't? I thought we
Well,
were
I don't
guessing.
know. I think you're right. But for
Just
people who are
looking at that daily candle.
yeah, the daily candle gives it away.
Well,
Or wait, you said 28%. Gold didn't make that much.
From the
And,
lows, did it? I think it might have from the lows.
you
Is
can
it
see the
silver?
chart right there. I have it marked up from the lows to the most recent highs.
I think that's gold. I don't think it's silver.
Okay.
I'm
It's one of the
putting this in the Telegram. I'm trying to
Hold
do.
on. Yeah, no, it's gold. It's got to be gold, I think.
We can't look at the charts, right? Like pull up our own charts.
No chart looking. All right,
Okay.
so there's the second question.
I'm gonna say gold then.
Let me give the audience just a second. While they do that, I'm going to go ahead and get question 3 ready for the poll. So, audience, what do you think? Do you agree with Nick and Frank, who both seem to think it's gold? Or
And again, if you guys would like to vote, join the Telegram. We'll drop the link again. Don't vote on the YouTube. You can vote on the Telegram if you want to get your answer right. Click this link. There it is. Boom. Join the Telegram. It's free to join. You can vote there.
okay, so I have the next question ready to go now. So, all right, Nick and Frank both think it's gold. This chart is, yes, it is gold. That is gold.
All
yes, the wick from yesterday was a little bit ridiculous. The price points trading around the 2000s. That was a gimme. If you have been watching gold, if you were really watching gold yesterday, then you know that it hit all-time highs. So that one was a little bit easier, but this one might get a little bit tougher. Let's move into our next question. And I'm dropping question 3 in the Telegram right now. So question 3 is live. And it says, this market has been up and down this year. You could buy it, you could sell it or you could sell it at times. This asset has been predominantly bullish year in and year out until the last 2 years. 2022 was not a great year for bulls in this market,
Spy.
but we are inching back towards all-time highs.
I got
So
my answer.
That's your clue. This market has been up and down this year. You could buy it and you could sell it at times. This asset has been predominantly bullish year in and year out until the last 2 years. 2022 was not a great year for bulls in this market, but we are inching back towards all-time highs. Is it the NASDAQ? Is it silver? Is it the dollar? Or is it the S&P 500?
Spy.
Frank thinks it's the SPY. Nick?
I think it's the NAS.
Nick thinks it's the NAS. Okay, so we have a little bit of differing opinions.
Although, well, actually, I don't know.
I'm going to give the audience we have 8 votes in so far. While they're doing that, I'm going to get question 4 ready. And as soon as I'm done with that, I will reveal the answer to this one. We're about halfway through now.
Because NAS got destroyed in 2022 compared to S&P. NAS was down like 35%. Let's see. I could be wrong, though. It could be S&P.
Give me 1 second and I will reveal the answer. Giving the
It can't be. Well, it's obvious not the Dow because the Dow's higher than those highs. The
Mhm.
NAS might be too. I just don't
Right.
think the S&P broke that.
Are you ready for the answer?
Ready.
The answer is, in fact, the S&P 500.
Ooh, Frank, you got me. Dang.
Mhm.
I thought it was the NAS.
That is the S&P 500.
Maybe NASDAQ is at a higher point already. Oh, it is.
So moving right along, I'm going to drop question 4. Question 4 is in the Telegram now. And here is question number 4. This says this market hit its peak last year, but it didn't last long. While this market has been up and down for most of the year, last month, November, was a down month for this asset. We saw a loss of 4% from last month's highs to last month's lows.
Dollar CAD.
But it has been trending upwards the last few days. Is it the dollar? Is it the NASDAQ? Is it dollar CAD? Or is it platinum?
Oh, maybe it's $1 actually.
This market hit its peak last year, but it didn't last long. While this market has been up and down While this market has been up and down for most of this year, last month, November, was a down month for this asset. We saw a loss of 4% from last month's highs to last month's lows, but it has been trending upwards in the last few days. I should mention, I don't think I mentioned this, but all of the charts that you see are all daily charts. They're all daily charts. Is it the dollar? Is it the NASDAQ? Is it CAD USD? Is it platinum?
It's
I
dollar.
got my vote. Yeah, I think it's dollar.
Nick and Frank both think it's dollar. And it is. It is the dollar. You guys are doing pretty good at this, I have to say. You guys are doing pretty good.
Frank's got me beat. I don't think Frank's missed one.
I know. I haven't been able to really keep score, so I don't know who's winning, but I think that's
maybe I can recover on the stock ones though. But
Is it
I
Tesla
gotta-
pound?
I'll go ahead and get the here's the next question. I'm about to put it in the
Who's more of a nerd? And I'm
next
winning.
question. This market has had no real direction for just over 3 years. This market is constantly finding itself in large, extended periods of consolidation. And this has a long ways to go if it wants to get back to its all-time highs of 2020.
I know this one.
Give me
I
one
actually don't
second
know.
while I'm putting this in the
Is this silver?
Telegram chat. Typing out. Oops.
The Hunt brothers did us dirty. That's your key hint.
The Hunt brothers. I don't know who those guys are.
Okay, question 5 for everybody watching has now been dropped in the Telegram. I'm going to go ahead and start on question 6 as well. So, Nick, Frank, do you think that you know the answer?
Silver.
I'm stuck between AU and silver, but I said silver already, so I guess
I think
I'll
it's
go
silver because James's point about being very far from the all-time high, the Hunt brothers manipulated the price of silver super high. Unless I'm just thinking of, but silver hasn't moved anywhere in the last few years, I don't think. Am I right, James, or am I just off?
So, you both think it's silver, and Nick, I did this one for you. It is, in fact, silver.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It is, in fact, silver. You guys, so I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous going into this because I was like, what if this is just way too hard and way too obscure and nobody can get these questions right? But you guys are actually killing this. I'm really surprised.
Now, I think if you did give me like the Australian dollar, I would just not be able to spot it. I'd be.
I mean, I tried. We've done, euro, dollar, S&P, gold, silver. Silver was specifically for Nick because I know that he loves some silver. But all right, let's see. Here we go into the next question. I'm dropping it in the Telegram now.
Ooh.
And question
Stock, Frank. Stock.
number 6 is a stock question.
Oh, so is this chart
market
all the way
hit
2023?
all-time highs. This market hit its all-time highs last Wednesday, but is now
Nvidia.
trading lower. This market was hit hard in 2020, like many others, but bounced back quickly and stronger than ever. 2022 was a down year for this market, but 2023 may have been this market's best year ever. It is the 14th most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ. Is it Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, or Facebook?
Frank,
What price is it at now, James?
I'm not going to. All the
That's not in our hint.
the information you can have has been given to you.
I mean, that looks like it could be Apple, Microsoft, or Nvidia.
I think it's Microsoft.
Well, you said all-time highs last Wednesday.
I can read the question one more time if you want.
No, it's okay. I think I'm going to say Nvidia.
I think it's Microsoft.
Okay, so we have a split decision. Nick believes it's Microsoft. Frank thinks that it's Nvidia. The answer is, it is in fact Microsoft.
Okay.
Oh,
It is Microsoft.
Nick knows his stocks.
Nvidia, I think like had like a bigger crash and a bigger rally than Microsoft in 2022 and 2023. Like it dropped so much and then it's just gone parabolic since.
Look at that small blip in 2020 when everyone was panicking.
Microsoft is a monster of a stock. It is absolutely insane.
All right, are we ready for our final question?
Yes, let's do it.
I've included one more stock question, and here it is. The hint for this one. This market has seen a crazy amount of growth in the last 3 years. This market hit its all-time high last month, around 192% higher from its beginning from the beginning of 2022. It is the 7th most actively traded asset on the NASDAQ. Is it Nvidia? Is it Apple, Facebook, or Tesla?
I don't know, Nick. That gap looks like...
And this is getting dropped in the Telegram for everybody playing along, right?
Greg,
I almost wanna
you and
say-
I both know that can't be Tesla because we would have remembered that day. Right?
I was thinking that it was because there was a gap.
But Nvidia had like
In,
a
like,
day
April.
that was up 30%. I think that might be Nvidia.
I think you're right too.
Because
they
I don't
both
think we
had
would've-
similar gaps, but like, if that gap was in September, then I think it's Nvidia.
Again, these are all daily charts, so I know it's hard to tell, but you can maybe piece together some of the a little bit of the timeline, just remembering that it is in fact a daily chart.
Although Meta has had a massive move this year, I can't remember a massive gap up like that outside of Nvidia, because I remember my friend Garrett, who has Nvidia shares, I was texting him just congratulating him on his amazing pick. It also is well above its all-time highs, which is indicative of Nvidia, not Apple. Tesla, Tesla's not at its all-time highs. Facebook, I think it's Nvidia. I think it's got to be Nvidia.
Nick thinks it's Nvidia. Frank, do you agree with Nick?
I do.
Frank agrees with Nick. It is in fact Nvidia. It is Nvidia. You guys killed that. That was really cool.
Between the two of us, Frank apparently knows his currencies better than I do, and I just listen to a lot of stock stuff.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's double check and see if the audience got some of these right. So I'm actually very curious to see. The last question, Nvidia, Tesla. Most people said Nvidia, although Tesla was very close behind. Question 6. Most people thought that one was Tesla.
Yeah, that one.
Microsoft was actually the 3rd most picked choice. What about the silver question? Most people said
thought it was the Aussie.
USD.
That one, you had some good ones in there, James. Those were kind of hard questions.
Question.
Like I almost thought it was the Australian dollar too. The only thing that got me on silver was you mentioned it was really far from its all-time high, and I painfully know that too well. So,
question 4. Most people picked the dollar correctly. Question 3, the S&P. Most people thought it was NASDAQ or dollar.
I got that wrong.
3rd most picked. Question 2, the answer was gold. Pretty much everybody said gold for that one. Good job, everybody. And the first question, Euro USD, Pound USD was actually the favorite there. Euro USD was second. So, audience, you guys did pretty good. You guys get like a B minus.
There you go. Honestly, everyone did really well overall. That was awesome. Thanks for putting that together, James. That was fun.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. We should do that again sometime.
Definitely down. Well, James, Frank, we'll let you get on with your days, and I got to get some stuff done too. So, audience, James, Frank, thanks everybody for hanging out. Chandler, maybe we can just call it good there. And again, guys, make sure to join the Telegram. We'll drop the link one more time for the Telegram. If you'd like to join for future games like this, we'll do more of them for sure. That was really fun. So join the Telegram. And with that said, see you guys on the next one. We'll end the stream there.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through our daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And yes, I'm Santa and I work for A1 Trading. Don't ask any questions. Now, get lost because I have some presents to deliver. I'll see you all at Christmas.